How's it going, guys? Today is March 21st, 5:02 p.m. here on the East Coast. Got this little gap in between things I got to accomplish today. Just got done with work, but I got some dog training to do for my dog here coming up in about an hour, probably about 45 minutes from now. I got to leave. But I figured that'd give me enough time to make the video and post it. So I wanted to do today's video on you mean something to somebody, and you can be your own cool person, or you can be somebody else's person who they think is cool. I was recently shopping today for my business, the job I work at, and I was talking to a local girl there who I see all the time, and she was asking me why I'm wearing this hat that I'm wearing. I was like, oh, she was like, oh, were you in the military? I was like, yeah, I was in the army for 8 years. She was like, oh, you were in the, I said, what were you, infantry? And I was like, no, I was, intelligence and finance. She was like, oh, so you use your brain? I was like, I guess so. And then she started asking me questions about what I'm doing now, if I'm trying to find myself. And I told her, what it is I'm doing now, helping manage a business. And then, I told her that I'm going to school as well, and have a couple things going. And she's like, oh, I had no idea that you were that type of person. She's like, you're so cool. And I laughed to myself, but I may be cool to her, in her own world and in her own words. Those are the words she used to express me. And it's a invaluable set of skills I've learned over my life up until this point, and those skills are proving very useful in a myriad of things that I'm trying to do. And everything that I learned up until this point has been valuable in a sense. So what I want to leave you with today in this vlog is that find something you're relatively good at, or give something a go, and then try to build upon it and be a little bit get a little bit better at what it is you're doing, and know that somebody somewhere has a need for your particular skills. Every individual has their own individual flavor to something, their own contribution to something. And you as an individual, you can either choose to really express yourself openly and honestly and contribute that type of honesty, or you can choose to hold back and kind of be, not contribute your gifts to society. And I think that's one of the most traumatic things that people can do, is not contribute their gifts to society, whatever it is that you're good at. And I found that kind of unique in today's conversation with that girl, that she thought I was cool, and that's not a word I would use to describe me. Maybe several years ago, but today I wouldn't necessarily say I'm cool per se. But those were the words that came out of her mouth, and she was a slightly younger lady, and she was talking about possibly going into the military herself, maybe the reserve side. And I gave her a little bit of advice, and then just kind of kept it moving. But it did kind of stick with me throughout the day. And then I realized that to every individual's got something to offer, and never underestimate yourself as to what it is that you can offer. And whatever it is that you can offer is always valuable to somebody else. And maybe a different field than you had in mind, but your particular skill set could work in a bunch of different things. I remember as I was transitioning out of the military, we had some recruiters coming by to recruit, veteran soldiers. We tend to be good candidates for hire. So it was another intelligence analyst like myself who had got out, and he was working for a company that started to grow and develop exponentially, and they needed a person of his caliber to kind of help manage the chaos. I remember his manager came when they were explaining the job to him. He's like, I just need somebody to help manage the chaos that's going on, because things are a little chaotic with his business. It was growing faster than he could imagine, and which is a great thing. But when you don't have the resources to back it up and to manage that chaos, so he literally looked up managing chaos and saw like some military handbook that came up with it, and so found out that he wanted to hire a military person to manage that chaos for him, and that's what he used a prior intelligence analyst for, with his experience, in order to manage the chaos. Sometimes we can help with that sort of thing, but you don't necessarily think that that would be a fitting job. And he ended up loving his job, and it kind of fell in line with what he was already doing, and was able to use his skill set in order to manage that chaos. So don't necessarily block yourself in. Keep your mind open to certain things and certain attributes that you may have that you may not be quite open to doing, but know that there's always something fitting for you in whatever field you decide to go after. Just decide on that field and then put some emphasis into it. In the military, we have these uh, warrant officers, and they're subject matter experts in their particular field, and there's only a small percentage of them within the military, and they fall in between the enlisted personnel and the officers. And typically, warrant officers have some enlisted experience, unless you're like a pilot or something. But typically, they have some enlisted experience, and they transition over to the warrant officer, and they become a subject matter expert in their field, which entitles them to more money and obviously more responsibility. And I'm not saying you have to be a subject matter expert, but know your field well. Know whatever it is you're studying well, whatever it is you're going to school for or trying to educate yourself on. Like I've said before, find a mentor who does it well. And you don't have to copy him or mimic him, but use the footprints that he left behind in order to make the same strides that he did or she did, and in order to help develop you into the person you want to be, so you can find your niche and develop from there. So that'll be it for today's vlog. Again, it was that you mean something to somebody, and in whatever way you want to take that and whatever context you want to take it, know that it's a good context, and there's many people who are looking for many different types of other people to help them with things. And every individual can contribute to the overall goals of a team or to the success of a team. Or if the overall goal or success is an individual thing that you want to do just on your own and want to be, your own sole proprietor in respects. So that doesn't necessarily block you in. It's just more creative adventures for yourself. But know that somewhere out there, there's somebody who can use your particular skills, or maybe you just need to develop them into your own niche, which is what I'm trying to do with this young mentor thing. I notice that a lot of people mentoring are, tend to be older than myself, but I found a niche in trying to cater to today's youth, and by youth I mean people who haven't quite decided on a field, but that doesn't necessarily block me into just dealing with today's youth, because I have a lot of people who find my information useful, such as my mother, who has been in the same field for many years now. So it just really depends on and even my stepfather's, who's retired, still find some of the information that I put out there useful. So it's but my niche is aimed towards today's youth, and the information that I know now, if I would have known it when I was younger, I hear that older people constantly say that. So that's kind of where I decided to build my niche and grow into, is that if you could know the things that I know now, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it might just help you make some better decisions or do some certain things in a different manner that might save you some time or might create some shortcuts for yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do by these mentoring videos. So thank you guys again for watching. I'm at 47 subscribers. I still have, I think there's 10 days left in this month, and I have 3 more subscribers to get there. I believe I will get there. Appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys watching, liking, commenting, subscribing on my videos. and I've been receiving some nice feedback lately, which has really kind of kept me going and motivating me through I wouldn't call them difficult times, but I would call them challenging times with the schedule that I have going on. I really have to want to do this, which I do, in order to make this happen on a consistent and on a daily basis. But again, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one.